Okay, so this is our new batch, that is the web development, and this is the first day of the batch. So I would like to tell you how exactly we are going to drive this batch, as in what things we would be using for sharing notes, what things we would be using for Git, or what you can say for source code management, how I'm going to share the source code with you, how I'm going to share notes with you. All that things would be discussed today. Also, we would be discussing what exactly we would be understanding, or what exactly we would be learning in the throughout the course. So here, so this is a web development, right? And in the web development, we learn the technologies like HTML5, CSS3, Bootstrap, and the React. This is what we have planned. Okay. So whenever I type the code, all that codes you also have to type. All those codes you also have to type. And that is important. For example, if I give you some example, consider that we need to develop this navbar, kind of this navbar. I will type the code. And same code you need to type. First thing. So whatever things we will learn, that would be in a practical manner only. So you will get overview in the theory, then I will type the code, and same code you need to type. Then there comes a question, how you are going to share the codes, how I'm going to share the codes with you, right? So I would be creating one Git repository. Now what is Git we are going to talk, don't worry about that. What is Git we are going to talk in detail. You will also write the code and upload it to the Git on your personal repositories. Okay, on your personal repositories. So let's have this web development, and let's create one ID for your batch. Let's create one ID for your batch. Some unique number. I'm saying ID is nothing but what? Some unique number. So I will attach this number over here. So what I'm creating, just don't worry. Absolutely don't worry. You might not be knowing all these things. Just look at the screen. I'm going to explain you each and everything. Whatever I'm going to say and whatever I'm going to write, you will get explanation for all of that things. Okay. Now here I would be creating a repository. So this is the very first step we would be doing. Now I'm sharing one link in the chat box, or here itself I will share GitHub. So this is the link we have. So let me make this thing as a public, publish to web. Now what will happen over here? You guys can access this my notebook on your machine. You getting my point? Hello? So I'm pasting this link in the chat box. Just try to open it on your computer and let me know if this is working or not. So this page is live now. Just try and let me know. Hello? Is it working or not? You can see this page on your screen, right? Okay. So this is the place where I'm going to write all the notes. This is the place. So whatever I'm going to say or important notes of the class would be shared on this link, right? Also source code. So whatever source code I would be writing, whatever code I would be writing, that code would be shared at this repository. Presently, you can consider that at this link. Here I will upload all the source code. So whenever you type the code, you can open this source code on your screen and type by looking at the code. And you can type the code on your machine by referring this code. This is very important. So first few days, don't expect that you will do things on your own. You just need to refer the code, type the code. Okay. First, recordings should be available with you. So you will see the recordings. Okay. You will refer the code. You will type the code. This is what you will do for complete 2 months. I'm going to give homeworks as well that you can do on your own. But whatever codes I have typed during the session, you also need to type on your machine. Getting my point? All of you?
Yes.
So that is important. So source code we have talked. The place where I'm going to share the notes is this place. Source code is this place. Okay. Now next part, how we are going to do or how I'm going to explain the things. So we have whiteboard over here and I would be explaining things on the whiteboard. Let's consider that nav bar. So I can say that you need to develop something like this. Some screen like this, which would be having one input box at the center, another input box at the center. And other things also I will explain over here. You getting my point? Hello?
Yes, yes.
So for whiteboarding purpose, we would be using this tool where I can draw and explain few things. So Notion for sharing the notes, Git for sharing the codes, and whiteboard for understanding. Even I can share link of this as well. So here I can write the link, whiteboard. So this is how we are going to go for next 40 days. Whiteboard. here you can get the whiteboard as well. So anyone with the link, I can view only. Copy the link and okay, just remove this link and click to view. Or let's give a credit to Canva board. Okay, this is the whiteboard. This is the Git. Another thing, all the recordings. So whenever I'm speaking right now, it is getting recorded. Okay. And after the session, I'm going to share these recordings on my channel. This is the YouTube channel you will find. And over here, batch recording, after you can say 3-4 hours, I will upload it on this channel. So I will add link to this channel as well. You can say YouTube channel. And or here simply you can add so this is the official handle I have on the YouTube, and I will create one playlist for you. And you just need to go to the playlist, okay, and select your playlist over here. That's it. Select your playlist and you can go through the videos. Getting my point? Hello?
Yes.
So that playlist link also I will put over here. So whenever I will create the playlist, that link I will put over here. So first thing, what you need to do right now is to create the Notion account. Create the account on Notion. Then create account on GitHub. It is a simple form. You need to create the account on the GitHub and you need to subscribe to the channel, right? Because I would be uploading a lot of videos on YouTube. So you should get proper notifications, because right now I'm just recording, and after a few hours, you can say 3 to 4 hours after the session, I would be uploading recording to the YouTube. So you should get a notification, right? So please subscribe to the channel, create the account on Notion and create account on GitHub if you don't have. So this will take hardly 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and let me know once you complete it. So you can share your Git link in the chat box. You can share your Notion link in the chat box, right? Because it is necessary. It is absolutely necessary to prepare the notes. No matter you are preparing on Notion, digital notes, or you have a notebook. But I will recommend to go with the digital asset, that is nothing but the Notion. Getting my point? Hello?
Yes.
So first you need to create account on Notion, then account on Git, and subscribe to the channel. So playlist link I will add shortly whenever I will upload the video. With the same name you will get the playlist. Web development and this some number, random number. Okay. Let me know once you're done creating account on Notion and the Git. You are doing, right? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, 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 ready.
Okay, once done, you can write it in the chat box. Completed. Also paste your links. Link for the Notion as well as link for your Git. So if you see on my screen, so whenever I create the Git account, can you see? This is my profile. github.com/my name. This is my profile available over here. So if you are looking for a job, you need to mention this link to your resume. You need to mention this link to your resume. Getting my point? So where all the source codes are placed, you can tell interviewer or your recruiter to check the Git profile. Also, you can share the notes that you have created. Correct?
Yes,
In the resume, there should be Notion link, there should be Git link, which will make another impact on the recruiter. Anyone is getting any questions? Anyone is getting any challenges while creating links? Please let me know. If you want me to move ahead, please write it in the chat box. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, did you say something? Hello?
yes, done.
Okay. Everyone done, right? Shall I move ahead? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, so, so below links, we can say H1 important links. I can add this important links. These are links. Below links, data on below links is publicly available. Remember that it is publicly available. So whenever you refer all these links, you need to remember this thing. This is available forever to you. Until YouTube is working, Notion is working, GitHub is working, right? Until these websites are running, this thing is freely available to you. Whatever Canva, Notion, Git, YouTube, as far as they are freely working, below data is freely available to you and anyone. Okay. Now let's move ahead. I hope you have got the structure, how you are going to do the things. So this is the day one. Not much is expected from you. Not much is expected from you. You just need to understand how we are going to work next 40 days. What is the plan? Okay. So we have talked about little housekeeping work. Now we can say a roadmap. What is the roadmap we would be having? Roadmap. What is the course roadmap? First, we can say, first we will understand environment setup, right? First we will understand environment setup. What environment you would be needing? Then let me note it down first. Then we would be working with HTML5 in detail, CSS3 in detail, and after that we will implement case study over here. Then we will move to the Bootstrap 5. Okay, and after that we will learn JavaScript rigorously. Then we will learn something called as DOM. Then after implementing DOM, again we will implement little case study. Again we will implement little case study. And then we will learn the React. Then we will learn React in detail. Okay, then we will learn React in detail. And again we will implement at the end project. So both the case studies will help you to implement this last project. After learning the React, we would be implementing the project. So this is how we are going to learn this web development course. You may check that this is reflecting in the publicly available Notion link or not. So whatever data or whatever things I am writing over here, please check it. It is getting reflected to the link or not. The link, this link. Okay, so this link, Canva link, sorry, Notion link. Is it reflecting or not? Hello? Roadmap reflected or not? I'm cross checking. You are handling all the links or not, or you are working with the links or not.
It's reflecting.
Okay. Now, now environment setup, HTML5, CSS3, case study, Bootstrap 5, JavaScript, DOM. Again, we will implement the case study. Then we'll run React, and then finally a project. Project also have been decided what project we would be doing over here. So let me show you that project. Yeah, if you see here, this would be the project. So I ask every participant to implement this. 30% of this I would be implementing. The rest of the 70% you need to implement. Don't worry if you see little bit too much right now. I'm very sure that you will implement all those things. I know that. It's easy. So login screen would be there. Then there is a customers page. Then there is what? Customers page. So it is billing counter management. What is a billing counter management? When you go to the shopping mall, you purchase all the things, and at the end, at the time of checking out, you go to the counter, right?
Yes.
And bill is getting generated on the counter. So management of that counter has been done over here. Management of that counter has been done in this project. Well, this is my actual project I have implemented for one of the client, and this is a little part of that. So customers would be listed over here, all the customers. So why I'm showing you on the first day itself? Whenever you learn the thing in the HTML, in the CSS, or in the Bootstrap, just imagine that you need to implement something like this, or this. So whenever you learn like reverse engineering manner, in the reverse engineering manner, for example, I need to develop this new customer screen. So what things I would be needing? If you need to implement this new customer screen, what things you would be needing? So you need to know how to create the nav bar, okay? Then you need to know how to create this left menu. You need to know how to create this drop down box. You click over here and some date or something like that will come, okay? Then how to create this text box, how to write this name about text box. So all those things you need to know. And whenever you learn HTML, just keep this thing in your head that I need to implement something like this. Getting my point? Why I am showing you this on the day one itself.
Yes. Yes.
You need to implement this. You can consider that. This is the final outcome. This is the outcome you would be implementing, or you would be having through the course, this project. And whenever you say case study, case studies are part of this project. For example, creating a screen. creating this screen in HTML5, CSS3. Again, implementing the same screen in the Bootstrap 5. Again, so once you know how to implement Bootstrap, once you know how to implement CSS3, you are good to go to the React. How things will work in the React, at that time we will see. Correct? Hello? You getting my point?
Yes, yes.
So this is about what case studies and the project. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. Hello?
No questions on my side.
Okay. Fine. So here, environment setup, HTML5, CSS3, case study. Case study is nothing but what part of this project. I may ask you to implement a navigation bar. So this nav bar, you need to implement that nav bar. That is the case study. So first we will implementing the nav bar. We using plain without any framework like HTML5 or CSS3. Sorry, like Bootstrap. And at the second time we will implement with the Bootstrap. Correct? So this is how we will proceed. Now you may expect what we would be covering in the environment setup. Can you tell me what we would be doing in the environment setup? Can you imagine that?
Which IDs we will be using?
Correct. IDs we would be using, and hello. Okay. So here we will understand. So here we will understand. Just a minute. Give me a moment. Just a minute. Yeah. So in the in environment setup, what we would be understanding, we would be learning what are hardware requirements, what are software requirements, what softwares you will need to work with this course, then code editor. So what things you would be needing for completing this course, and then very important thing we will do over here, Node.js. So that will fall under the software requirement actually, and the Git setup. Right? Git setup. So on your local machine, we are going to set up the Git. So what will happen? You can also create your Git repositories and push the data or push your codes to Git the way I am pushing right now. So I have created this repository for you. web development this, and onto this repository I will push the codes. Okay, in the same way you need to do, in the same fashion you need to do, and for that you would be needing Git to be installed on your machine. Git to be installed on your machine. Okay. Okay. Now, next part is HTML5. So what we would be learning in the HTML5? Can you tell me? What you would be learning in HTML5? So first tell me what is HTML? What you know, guys? What do you know, guys, about HTML? Can anyone explain this?
It provides a basic skeleton for the web page.
Okay. Basic skeleton for the web page. Anything else? What is HTML? We are going to see. I'm going to explain it tomorrow. We are just doing, understand, or we are just thinking about the course today. Technologies and the concept will start from tomorrow. And I would like you to speak up, because the course would be something like, you can say, full duplex. I would be speaking, you also would be speaking. It's not like that I only in the room who would be speaking. You also need to speak, right? It should be both way. Yeah, what is HTML? Go ahead and explain few things you know about HTML. What do you?
HTML is a markup language and provides basic skeleton for your web page.
Okay.
Its full form is hypertext markup language.
That's it. Anyone else want to explain this?
Browser is how to display.
Say that again.
Browser is how to display.
Okay. So when you talk about HTML, remember that it is the structure of the page. Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. Now, what do you mean by hypertext markup? That we are going to see in detail. So when you talk about HTML5, it is the acronym for Hypertext Markup Language 5. So each and every word is having in-depth meaning. Hypertext means what, and markup language means what, and what do you mean by 5? Okay. Now relate it with our project. So what project we would be implementing? See, I'm telling you how to learn the technology. How exactly you will learn the technology. So this is the project we have. Okay, let's add this link to our repository. Project we would be implementing. Okay, implement the project. We will implement the project given at the link. Here we can say, and I can add this link over here. So this project we would be implementing. So it is available, the project is available into Notion book. Now, so we are understanding the HTML. We are going to learn the HTML. But as far as the technology is concerned, you need to know why I am learning HTML, because I need to create the structure. I need to create the structure which will look like this. Structure, I am saying. We need to create the structure. Structure means what? How to create this navigation bar at the top. How to create this login page. Sorry, how to create this login text. How to create this sign in to continue text. How to place this text box over here. How to place this text box over here. How to place this button over here. And if there is in a footer, anything is in the footer, how to do that things. So we will see these things under the HTML5. You getting my point? Why you will learn the HTML5?
Yes.
You will learn the HTML5. You learn the HTML5 to understand how to place the things, how to structure the things. That's what the HTML5 is. Hypertext markup language. Now, what is that? Don't worry. We will see in detail. So here we will understand structuring of the page. We will understand structuring of the page. Just a minute. So what we will understand in the HTML? This part. See now. So in HTML5, you will learn how to structure the web pages effectively using the various tags. Now, what is a tag? You will get to know. This tag defines the layout and the content of a page, including the headings, paragraph, lists, images, and links. Understanding HTML5 enables you to create the well-organized and accessible web pages. What do you mean by web page? This is one page, login page. This is what we will understand in the HTML5. Okay, now what is a CSS3? Can you tell me, guys, what is a CSS3?
It is cascading style sheet used to style the HTML elements and make it look more attractive.
Okay. Anyone else want to answer?
Supported to all modern browsers.
Say that again.
Supported to all modern browsers.
Okay. So when you talk about CSS3, there is also in-depth meaning, cascading style sheets. What do you mean by cascading? We'll see at the time of CSS, right? But tomorrow we are going to spend on HTML5. Tomorrow we are going to spend on HTML5. Day after tomorrow we'll start with the CSS3, and then we will learn HTML and CSS3 together. Getting my point?
Okay.
First, we will understand the technologies in isolation. Like, we'll talk about HTML separately, we'll talk about CSS separately, then we'll combine HTML and CSS together. right? Combining HTML and CSS together, and then we will learn again. Similarly, we will learn Bootstrap in isolation, and we will combine HTML, CSS3, Bootstrap together, and then we will learn. Something like that we will do. So when you talk about CSS3, it is a cascading style sheet 3. There is a meaning of the cascading, there is a meaning of style sheet, and there is a importance to the number 3. They define something. What they define, we'll see. In the respective sessions, we'll talk about that. But as far as today is concerned, what do you do by using CSS over here? Why you learn CSS? The way we have understood why we will learn HTML. We learn the HTML to structure this. So what is this? What is this? What is this? This defines in the HTML. Who defines that? What you are going to call this top nav bar as. HTML is responsible for that. Creating the login text, HTML responsible. Sign in to continue, HTML is responsible. Then for this text box, HTML is responsible. For this text box, HTML is responsible. For this button, HTML is responsible. Right? Now, what CSS will do? What CSS will play the role? I want to take it to the center of the page. HTML will not take it to the center of the page. So HTML, if you don't apply the CSS, the login would be at the start of the page. Email would be at the start of the page. Password would be at the start of the page. This button would be at the start. Now I want to move this content to the center. Move this content to the center. Who is responsible for that? CSS is responsible for that. I wanted to give a color to this email. I wanted to give color to this password. Who will do that? This is not the responsibility of the HTML. Appearance is the responsibility of the CSS. So in the CSS, what we will learn? In the CSS3, you will explore the power of styling web pages by controlling their appearance, layout, and behavior. Now, can you see, look at the Notion page. The minute I hover the cursor on any of the text, can you see here? I hover the cursor, these two things will appear automatically. See here, plus and this icon, drag icon, will appear automatically. Behavior. So this behavior, the minute I hover the cursor, two elements or two things, or you can take another example. The minute I am hovering the cursor, it is getting a faint gray background. I hope you can see that. A faint gray background. Can you see that? Hello?
Yes.
The minute I am hovering the cursor, the plus button is getting faint gray background. This is also getting a faint gray background. Behavior. Who gives the behavior? CSS3 gives you the behavior. Getting my point? Styling. Now, so this HTML is normal now, but I want to give underline. I want to give little background to it. Who does that thing? I want to change the color of this HTML5. I want to change color of this CSS3. CSS does that thing. So HTML is responsible for structuring. CSS is responsible for, you can say, coloring, appearance. In short, or in generalized form, for appearance, layout, and the behavior. Appearance, layout, and the behavior. Getting my point? Appearance, layout, and the behavior. Now here if you see environment setup, we have seen what we will learn in the environment setup, how to set all these things. HTML5, CSS3, then case study we will implement something by combining these two. Now what is a Bootstrap 5? What is a Bootstrap 5 now? So when you talk about the Bootstrap 5, so if you work with the CSS3, if you work with the CSS3, just a minute. If you work with the CSS3, you need to write lot of code. You need to write lot of code. So some smart people came together and they thought that some smart people came together and they thought that let's build some common things, or let's club few common things together. For example, we can go to the docs, and here if you want to develop, just a minute, I will show you something. Yeah, if you want to develop something like this, can you see automatically here you can see if I click on this arrow, automatically these things are happening. See here. So smart developers came together and they thought that let us try to solve some common problems like this accordion. So this is a common problem. If you want to implement this in the CSS on your own, at least you need to write 500 lines of code. So smart people came together and they thought that let's write a code. Can you see only this much code you need to write? Now if you see, they have created something called as class. You'll get to know what do you mean by class at the time of CSS. At the time of CSS, you'll get to know. Just a minute. Okay. So these people have solved some problems. Like I have shown you one example, accordion. Another example is the dialog. Can you see this dialog? Opening the dialog, closing the dialog. So if you want to implement this on your own in HTML5 and CSS3, you need to write a lot of code. Are you getting my point? Hello?
Yes, yes.
So some smart developers came together and they decided to give you a ready-made things. Can you see that? Ready-made things in the terms of components, ready-made things in the terms of forms, and some other things related to the layout, behavior, and other things. They have given you ready-made things, and that's what the Bootstrap 5 is. A CSS framework. So if you want to develop the production ready systems, you will go with the Bootstrap 5. You'll go with what? Bootstrap 5. Remember that CSS3 is a foundational. On the top of CSS3, they have written another CSS framework. on the top of CSS3, they have written another CSS framework, that is the Bootstrap, which means that first you will have, so at the foundation there is a HTML5. This layer is of the HTML5. Then on the top of that they have used CSS3 over here, and they have created some elegant framework at the top, that is nothing but the Bootstrap. So you will learn this layer so that you don't need to implement this part or this part. If you use this layer, you can build any of the website. Getting my point? So Bootstrap makes your life easy. Bootstrap makes developers' life easy. Correct? Hello? Otherwise, if you don't use the Bootstrap, you need to write code for these two on your own. These two on your own. You need to write code for these two on your own, which is a tedious job. And that's why we go with the CSS frameworks like Bootstrap. Well, there is not only one CSS framework. We have a lot of other CSS framework available in the market. Okay. Then there is a JavaScript. Now, can you tell me, team, what do you mean by JavaScript?
It provides functionality to your web page,
Okay.
and it can do your DOM manipulation. Like it can make your site dynamic.
Okay. Anyone else want to answer?
To make web page interactive.
Yeah, it makes web pages interactive. Now, what do you mean by it add a dynamism or it makes web pages interactive? What do you mean by that? Let's go to this example. And when you click over here, some pop-ups comes. And when you click over here, something happens. If I click on 5.2.3, something happens on the page. Content is getting changed. Here also, if you or take example of this model, if you click on this close button, something happens. Or if you click on this button, something happens. See, if I click over here, something happens. Again, if I click on this cross or this close button, it disappears. So appears, disappears, appears, disappears. So HTML gives structure, CSS3 HTML gives structure, CSS3 gives appearance and behavior, and your web page get life by adding JavaScript to it. Once you add JS to your page becomes live. For example, now say dark. I want to change theme of this page to the dark and to the light. Dark and to the light. What to do on, so this pop-up is given to you by CSS. But the minute I click on the dark, what should happen? That has to be given, that has to be written in the JS. Getting my point? What is the role of the JS? So we have discussed in your project, or take an example of your project. If I click on the login page, I should go to the dashboard. I will check who is the user, what is the password. I will click on the login. I should navigate to the dashboard. Now I should navigate from one page to the another page is the responsibility of JavaScript. Getting my point? What JavaScript will do? JavaScript will do these things. It will give you life to your page. Now, what is a DOM? DOM is also JavaScript. When you talk about DOM, it is also JavaScript. But here, can you see here? Rows, if I click on the new customer, I will add this details, and click on the create. A new row in a table would be getting created. New row in a table would be getting created. The minute I click on this page and come back to this page, automatically one row would be getting created over here. Another row would be getting created over here. So this thing is called as document object model. This thing is called as what? Document object model, DOM. Getting my point? So when you talk about the DOM, it is a document object model. Is a programming interface to the web documents. It represents structure of the just say HTML documents as a tree of the object. You will get to know, right? So table is one tree and this row is table. So whole and sole table is one tree and the row is child. So how exactly this works, we will see shortly in the future. We are going to discuss this DOM in very much details, right? So I have given example. What is DOM? I will add the entry, click on the create, automatically one row would be getting created over here. If I do 100 times, 100 rows would be there. How this is happening? Who is responsible? DOM is responsible, and that's why we would be learning the DOM. Okay, then what is React? What is React? So React is totally related to these two things. React is mostly related to these two things, JavaScript and the DOM. So here you are creating all these things. You are writing the code for all the things. You are writing the code for business logic. Business logic means what? Name shouldn't be less than 5 characters. Name shouldn't be less than 5 characters. Yes or no? Hello? That is your core programming logic. But in addition to that, you are writing the code to add the row inside this table. Row, this HTML row inside the table. Now some smart people came together and they said that let us separate this thing. Some smart people came together and they said that, so this is my programming logic and this is my HTML logic. Let us presently, what's the scenario? This is your programming logic and this is your HTML logic. They are together. But some smart people out there, they came together and they said that let us divide it. So your business logic and the programming logic and the HTML logic should be separate clearly. So you will just write business logic and there should be some frameworks. They would be responsible for creating the HTML for you on their own. So here I can say this is a business. Business means what? Business logic, I just write business over here. Means what? Name shouldn't be greater than 8 characters. Business. HTML means what? HTML means what? Adding the row dynamically. HTML means what? Adding the row dynamically. So smart people are there and they thought that these two should be completely different. And who does that job? React does that job. React says that I will take care of the responsibility of creating HTML for you. I will take care of the responsibility of creating HTML for you. You just go on writing the business, and I will create HTML for you. And that's what the React is. Getting my point? Hello?
Yes.
And that's why we will learn the React. Now, what I request you, just go through these notes for 5 minutes, and then we'll see what happens. Okay? Take a 5 minutes. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, take 5 minutes, go through the code, and we'll see next part. Any questions?
No.
Okay. So this is what we would be learning throughout the course. Okay. Now, today's homework. Let me give you one task to you today. So here we can say homework. Right click, create a new page, and homework. So day 1, today's homework, install VS Code on your own. Install VS Code. What is a VS Code? This is the code editor. We are going to see actually tomorrow. We are going to use this code editor throughout this course. So your today's homework, I want you to struggle a little bit for installing. Install the VS Code on your own. So this is your day one homework. Getting my point?
Okay.
Nothing else. You just need to install this software. So go here, download it, and we'll see what happens. Okay. So as this is the first day, we are concluding our lecture here. But from tomorrow, it's like more something like this. We will have a session about 1 hour 15 minutes to 1 hour 30 minutes. Depends on the content we cover. So here importance is to be given for practicing. Okay. So after that, I would be available over here. You will type your code on your screen. And if you get any queries, you will ask me simultaneously. Getting my point? Hello?
Yes.
So important part over here is that your practice, you cannot learn the coding by listening to someone or by looking at someone's code. You need to make your hands dirty. Okay. That's why either 1 hour 15 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes, our session would be, depending on what we are covering, and amount of time you need to practice in front of me. Okay, so that's for the day. We will meet tomorrow, same time, 10 o'clock. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. I hope you will install everyone this VS Code, and VS Code would be ready by tomorrow. I would be uploading the recording in next 1 hour. Subscribe to the channel so that you will get notification as soon as I upload the recording. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for what you can say. Be patient and be silent throughout the session. Thank you.